How you going, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fair Income Podcast. Today we had two best mates on, Adam and Abdul Hay, speaking about opening up a food truck business together and some other friends as well. They talked about their background and the journey with opening up this business, spoke about the ups and downs of running this business together, staying consistent, their relationship with money as well, and customer service. Hope you guys enjoy.
Fair Income.
But I wanted to first touch on, obviously, because everyone that knows you guys are from a big group of boys. Like
It's actually not that big, but I get you.
It seems
how many of you are there now?
Like
It's more than 10.
Like the inner circle, yeah, it's about like 10.
That's huge.
How
bro.
about the that's the inner circle, the tight knit. How about the not so tight but part of the boys?
Fuck,
No, that's big.
That's my wedding photo, bro.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
Yeah. So you guys have a big group like us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 5, and everyone knows like it's hard keeping a big group of friends because you always have your tight knit friends like you said. But I wanted to realize, because you guys have Tisiri, you guys started a new caravan that people are gonna hear all about. But why was it just you two?
To be honest, the long story, me and him were probably the only one, or is the only one in our group that's in hospo. And about 5-6 years ago, when I saw him doing barista and I was a chef and all that stuff, out of just a whim, or I guess you can say, like, we were just throwing it out in the air, we're like, hey, let's start something one day. And this was 5-6 years ago. And then a couple of things happened throughout the throughout the journey and whatnot. And then we after all those trial and tribulations, we ended up starting it. But it's actually not just us two. We're like the captains, I guess the face. There's another 3 boys that were involved, and without them, like we wouldn't be able to start this venture. I mean, but they're silent, and I think we're like,
Behind the scenes.
Yeah,
There's
they're
always behind the scenes. There's always people behind the scenes. You know?
Yeah. Essentially, they're the ones behind the scenes that help. One of them is an accountant, and he helps us with the accounting side. But everything around Tisiri, like from start to finish, is literally just me and him.
Yeah. When did you guys start Tisiri? Because I only found out, when we went to Zaid's wedding in Sydney.
Yeah.
What you were driving then, obviously we knew you boys. Ali goes, don't you know what they're doing? I said, nah. And then he showed me. Like literally just in Feb this year,
Man, yeah.
I knew you guys were doing it. So how long's it?
So like, bro, our first pop-up location was end of December,
Okay.
and then we did another one, maybe start of Jan. Actually, no, probably late to mid December, and then end of December, and then we had like a 3-month hiatus because we were looking for a permanent spot,
Of course.
and then we got started again first week of Ramadan, and we haven't stopped since then.
So you guys are still like in the early stages, probably learning
Yeah,
so
100%.
much.
Yeah.
Right,
Bro,
everything
it's
everything
insane.
you think you know, out the window.
Yeah.
Like between he's been how long have you been in Bristol for, and front of house manager?
Like
Over 5, 6, 7
like
years.
like total is like 10 years, but like leadership positions like maybe 5.
So your background is a barista,
Yeah.
and Adam's background is a chef.
Yeah.
And then you both brought your business knowledge into Tisiri,
Yeah.
and
Correct. Yeah.
you're shocked at how many mistakes you're making and stuff like
It's
that.
not even that. It's just like, for example, our knowledge around like the industry has all been at a shop front level, like at a shop, and this being like a trailer, will hit like new, I guess, challenges. Like, for example, I remember when we first opened up the first big weekend, and we got heaps of customers. We ran out of gas. We ran out of gas, right?
Wow.
We ran out of gas, and we look at these customers, and we're like, wow, right.
How early was that? Like how early?
That
How
was
early?
like what, the first, second week or something?
Yeah, that was probably
That was like the first, and
And
then
that was
from there
like-
we just we're like, how can we do such an amateur mistake? Like, you know what I mean? And then we were like, stuff it. We're gonna like get a lot of gas cans and all this stuff, and like wastewater and all these other like non chefing or front of house things that we had to worry about. We had to worry about it.
It's
like
insane.
being a business owner, it's not just, fair enough, let's say you have a skill in your industry, but you become like a part-time of everything. Like, we were part-time mechanic, part-time
carpenter.
carpenter, part-time cleaner, part-time looking
Demolisher.
at demolisher, like, you know what I mean? Like, we were just
You're learning skills on the way.
straight up, and we'll be, alhamdulillah, like me and Abdul Hay know each other very well, and we know how he like, I know how he works, he knows how I work, and the one thing that we learned, like, being business owners, being partners, being best mates, is you got to separate work and like your personal stuff.
Mm.
Like at work, if you're angry, it's work related. And if you're off, you can't carry that anger towards like on a personal level. You know what I mean? Like, and vice versa. And yeah, you just gotta like forgive and forget a lot.
Was that was that established from day one? Like, you know, separating the personal.
Oh, 100%. Like we've worked together before in many other places where I was the head chef and he was the front of house manager. So we knew, like we knew, and we both have very equal high standards and a projection of how we want things to be. You know what I mean? So on that level, like we understand each other, which alhamdulillah, it's good.
That's interesting because my parents run a business together and they say the same thing because they work together during the day and they come back home and my mum might be cut something my dad said and he goes, you got to kind of separate the business and the personal. Did you guys like do a lot of research or talk to a lot of people about starting businesses? Because even starting a caravan, like I wouldn't know who to go to ask about, hey, can you give me advice? Did you guys do any of that stuff, like prep?
Yes and no, like to a certain degree. The main people we grabbed advice from were people who actually built the trailers, you know. So I remember there was a period in time where we spent around 2.5 to 3 months like just like driving around Melbourne, looking at all these different manufacturers and talking to them and getting their input and stuff. But most of, like, I would say the remainder of our knowledge or remainder of our research came from our like personal experience, like because we've been in many places like running the show and learning how the business works inside and out. But I would say it's definitely a bit of both. You know, I also wouldn't recommend somebody to just jump into something without really knowing what's going on. Like research is very, very important. But yeah, it comes down to personal experience and a little bit of research but mostly just trusting your gut.
I think sometimes you just have to have the experience. Like you can have advice, someone will say, hey, get a spare can of gas. And then as soon as it happens, you're like, damn it, now I'll never forget it.
You can have all the experience in the world, but there's going to be things that like you're going to be exposed to that you just got to learn on the job. You know what I mean? Like there's so much theory that you can absorb, and then there's practical, you know, like practical stuff.
And even starting a food truck, like for example, when we think of food truck, a lot of time it's either like at festivals or it's kebabs. You guys came from a different avenue, and like I went there twice, you know. Ali hasn't been yet because he was overseas and stuff, but I want to take him. But then what was the vision behind, you know, hitting it from a different angle? Because everyone, like when I was there, someone came and said, can I have a kebab? It's like, that's the first thing people think. Caravan kebab, you probably get it all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
What was the trajectory or like the vision you guys had to say, okay, let's change it up, let's do, you know?
We saw a hole in the market. Long story short, like we saw that we had a set of skills that was that we wanted to utilize. Like essentially, the first idea that we wanted to do was a cafe, and then from a cafe we moved to like, oh, you know what? Let's do a trailer. And then
burgers.
No, the trailer, and then we were gonna do the burgers. But then when we looked at the more research we did, we were like, burgers are saturated, and it's really hard to like break into a market that already has a certain price point. Yeah. For example, like, how much are you willing to pay for a cheeseburger, even a gourmet cheeseburger, like $13 max, And today's like food costs and everything just in general is up, and everything gets offset to the customer. And we want it to be like somewhat accessible and like allowing people to come at least once or twice a week, And then we thought about like, at first we were this Tisiri was just gonna be like, dining dishes, for example, like just like dishes that you'd find in like a restaurant or whatnot, but on a takeaway thing. And we realized that's not sustainable for a team of 2. So then we converted everything that we thought that we do like on an open dish into like a sandwich or a burger. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, like it's translated pretty good. Like people are responding in a good way. They kind of like, they scratch their head at first, but once they eat it, they go, this is mad. This is hectic. And not gonna lie, like it's we try to make it accessible and simple in a way where we can step away from it essentially, because obviously you start a business, you have bigger goals, but you got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? But yeah, like essentially it's just trying to show what we can do to a certain degree. Like he, like for example, he has bigger plans for his coffee, anything, which I wanna be part of. Yeah. But like we both come from very like we've seen the top of hospo. I've been cooking for 16 years, and I could go into like the people I've worked for, for example, the last place that I worked for full time was Meat Smith, which is for Andrew McConnell. I was part of a team of 6. I was in the production kitchen. We had I think we did like a menu of like 18 to 22 items. This place, which I was a part of, a team of 6, brought in the company 1.2 to 1.4 mil a month.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? I was cooking.
Why'd you leave?
Because
Nah,
they were
nah.
just underpaying me.
Yeah.
I was doing OT, getting. I was on 65K a year. I was doing OT, like I was, contracted for 38 hours, but doing OT for no extra pay. On a Monday, I was like, for example, I'll give you like, so you know how big, 1 kilo of meat is, yeah? On a Monday, me alone, I would smash out 400 kilos worth of meat. Wallahi, I'm not lying to you.
Oh my God.
400 kilos. I had boxes like the size of that chair, my height, and I'm just there going, you know?
No.
Yeah. When I first started there, it took me about 7 hours, so about my full shift, seven. By the time I left, which was like I was only there for like 3.5, 4 months in, I was strictly there just to see how large scale hospitality works in terms of, because I wanted to do like something similar to that. On a big scale, I could smash 400 kilos in like 5.5, 6 hours, like being efficient.
Yeah.
But like, if you put it on a scale of like the end of year revenue and what you're on and the team, blah blah blah, and what you're just like, nah, I'm not breaking my back for someone else.
100%.
And hospo is very like savage in a lot of ways.
It's a cutthroat industry.
Like this kitchen I was in, it was pretty good, but like I've been in kitchens where they throw shit at you, like as a joke, like they'll to make you work faster, they'll heat up tongs and like just whatever gets you through the line, and yeah.
So was there a moment that made you? Because obviously you said you don't want to work for the man. Was there a moment when you were working in a job that it's like, nah, this is my max. This is like, because obviously it's just 3.5 months, 4 months. Underpaying, which obviously motivates you, but then sometimes people just suck it up for another 5, 6, 7 months, or they'll look for another job.
Yeah.
But then you go, nah, I want to work for myself. What was it that switched?
People with no experience, like in the industry, open up their own thing, and it works. People that just literally buy like a takeaway shop, everything comes in freezer bags, and it works. You know what I mean? Like when we see people that don't know nothing open up something just because they have a bit of fulus and they have a bit of backing, and it works. And we're like, bro, like the Islamic market, the halal market, there's not much compared to Sydney, for example. And Sydney, like there's a lot of halal varieties, but customer service is not there. Like, no.
Do you guys push on customer service?
100%. 100%. You have to, because like not gonna lie, like even us as people from the area, like when we go outside of the area, when we go like in Brunswick, like as part of Muslims, you got to hold ourselves like to a certain like manner. Like we have to have manners, adab and all this stuff. And you get that from the white, like from the white people. Like, but it's sad to say that in some areas of our area, it's just like, what do you want? What do you want? Quick.
Yeah.
What do you want? You know what I mean? And like we like me bringing my wife around those white areas, we like that kind of interaction. That face value kind of like they care about you walking out there happy and coming back. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's not about the sale, it's about getting the customer to come back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like it's not about the one-off sale.
Experience.
Like if you care about the one-off sale, you're in the wrong industry.
And I can hear you saying that, like, you see someone, it's like, he can do it, he can be successful, or she can do it and she can be successful. And it's like, I know more than you, so why can't I do it? And it gives you that, like, you have that burst of energy. It's like, bro, hacking, like, for example, a lot of people that have good physiques or they make a lot of money investing, it's like, why can't I do the same thing? And all it is just putting your mind to it.
100%.
It's not even like I know more than you. It's more like if you see someone doing it and like that you've got something that you can probably do a little bit better, then it's like, and you're not doing it, then it forces you to look at yourself. You know what I mean? Like, why am I not doing? Like, I'm not saying to compare. That's different. But like looking inwards and seeing, like, what am I not doing to get me to where I want to be? You know what I mean?
And it's just taking the risk, because what's the worst thing can happen? You take a risk, you lose X amount of thousands of dollars, which is doesn't really matter. Money is just whatever. Money is money.
But you have a wife and kid. Like,
Yeah, but
isn't the risk a bit different?
Nah. I'm so against that. Like, wife. Yeah, it's my responsibility to take care of them and all this stuff. But I don't get caught up on money, because at the end of the day, if I try something and I did it to the best of my ability and I did it halal and it didn't work out, what's the worst thing I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to a 9 to 5. I'm gonna go
100%.
back working for another Donny. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's gonna
Did you I don't know if you want to open up, but did your wife support you and stuff like that? Because
100%.
sometimes people have, you and your partner might have different psychology with money and taking risk and stuff.
Nah, alhamdulillah, she was very supportive. Like I literally started the business when she gave birth.
No way. Talk about making risks. Man.
And you quit your 9 to 5 to start the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, we quit the 9 to 5,
Inshallah.
start the business. We put in all our money. Like, a lot of people have told us, like, use other people's money, don't put in your money. But we didn't want to go to the banks.
It's more technical though.
And getting investors and stuff.
Yeah, we
It's-
didn't want to get involved with riba and all this stuff. Like, we try to, mind you, we didn't go like freaking hundreds of thousands. We literally opened up something that we could afford and something that we could operate to the best of our ability with just minimum people, which is 2 of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just did it. We just did it, and
Where does this risk mindset come from? Because, for example, like, I'm 23, you're 31, you have a kid, you have a wife, and even me with money, I'll be like, should I spend it? Should I risk it? Like, we had a brother yesterday talking about his perspective on investing on holidays and traveling. And he goes, I'll spend 5,000 and I'll go on a holiday. Someone else will be like, I don't want to spend that money. Did that come from like a life experience or maybe how you were raised?
yes and no. Like I grew up like probably like anyone else. Like, my I grew up from a single parent. My dad was the one that raised me. A bit different. Like, normally divorced families, the mum takes you, but in my case, it was my dad. And he, for many years, he just said, as long as I put a roof over your head, food on the table, the rest is up to you. And I never really got like caught on like money. I was never really greedy. I knew the value of it, but essentially it's just like money comes and goes. You know what I mean? Like, if, for example, you can hold on to 100K right now, and if you die tomorrow, the 100K just sit there or go somewhere. But that 100K, for example, could give you life experience, for example, open many avenues. Like, just before I got married, I traveled for like 6 years.
Traveled for 6 years.
Yeah, I traveled for 6 years. Like, on and off, like
but
3 months,
not
come
in one
back.
go,
3
yeah.
months,
Yeah.
like,
But
not in
you
one
were
go,
you're
yeah.
actively trying to travel for 6 years.
Yeah, I was actually trying to
Was that
travel for 6
working in your
years.
field or just
Nah,
traveling
just
for the
straight
sake of it?
traveling. I
Okay.
just straight like, and I've been in more kitchens than I have in countries, and I've been to a lot of countries. You know what I mean?
how much do you think traveling has helped you in terms of running a business and
it-
just friendships and like relationships in general, friends and
lot.
whatnot?
a lot. Like, a lot of the boys in our group, like, we traveled with them, and there's a fair few things that I remember. Like, Islam says, like, you never really know a person until you live with them, travel with them, and do business with them. And alhamdulillah, like, the handful of boys in our group, I've at least done minimum 2 with each. Like,
Sometimes one is enough. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes one is enough. So, like, and I've these guys, I've practically with him, I've traveled with him, and now I'm in business with him. You know what I mean?
SubhanAllah.
And alhamdulillah, like, it's good. But honestly, traveling, especially if you're in Australia and we don't have many neighboring countries, like, for example, like, when I traveled, I realized like how lucky other people have overseas, even though, like, we get paid pretty well, but our economy is pretty, like, it balances out. They can get a train and go to like the neighboring city.
Yeah, convenience.
You
Yeah,
know, like literally like an hour train or something, like, they're in the neighboring country, but we don't. And
10-hour drive to Sydney.
straight up,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, like, traveling opened up my appreciation for Melbourne, not gonna lie. I used to hate Melbourne. I used to really hate on Melbourne in Australia. It's like, this place is shit.
Yeah.
You know?
But once you leave it, like for a while, you start to appreciate and look back. It's like it's actually a beautiful city.
Alhamdulillah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful if you have your mind switched on. It's a beautiful place if you have goals and you want to start a family and you have actual, like, goals, like, to strive for. Because overseas, like, you see many people with goals and ambitions, but they just can't do it because the country doesn't allow it, or it makes it really hard.
Well, country of opportunity. In Melbourne, you can literally think of whatever you want, start a
100%.
business and
It's
podcast
true.
and whatever, and make it work. But then you travel And a lot of times people travel, and it's very different to living in a country.
Correct.
So you travel, sounds like, wow, this country is amazing. And then if you live there and you work like them, you'd hate life.
100%.
Yeah. 100%.
But it's like, subhanAllah, it's such a, you know. Did you guys, because, for example, we're brothers, and even us, we lived overseas together. And we do business together now. And we've done a lot of things, like, a lot of brothers aren't that, like, don't have a relationship like us, you know. So we do a lot of things together. Even you guys as friends, like, what did you do when there was bumps in the road? Like, even when you travel and you do business, there's obviously a lot of obstacles. I know before you said you have that mindset where you leave personal and work, but even at work, you both hit heads, because we have the podcast and, you know, we hit heads a lot. So I wanted to know if you guys have tactics, things you do.
I think it's like never let your ego get in the way, like ever.
Oh, sorry, Captain.
Like
He's the captain again.
no, like you just never let your ego get in the way. You have to make sure that if you're in the wrong and you know you're in the wrong, then you have to apologize. You know, don't let things fester. Like this guy, like if I was ever to be upset at Adam, like he will make sure he gets it out of me then and there. You know, and I'll always be like a clam, just like it's good. I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk about it. But he'll make it like he'll bring it out of me, and then we'll have to talk about it then and there, and then like it has to be straight away. You know, otherwise you're gonna go home, fester about it, think about it's gonna be, and then it's like yucky.
That never helps.
And that never works. So like, I suppose the best advice I can give for that is just like, own up to it. If it's your fault, own up to it. Try and be the bigger person. Like whenever you can, try and be the bigger person, because at the end of the day, like, what's it all for anyway? You know, like we're trying to get somewhere together. You know, yeah. So swallow your ego. Yeah, and
just being able to like work it out. Like there's bad confrontation and there's good confrontation. If you're confronting your business partner, your wife or whoever, like your friends, with the intention and the mindset of resolving it, that's good confrontation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But if it's if like people, I don't know, people find it very hard to say sorry or get strung up on saying sorry due to pride, ego, whatever. But if you're boys, if you're your homies and stuff, like it doesn't make you weak to say sorry.
100%.
And sometimes you even have to be like the bigger person, because let's say one person's really stubborn and whatnot, and maybe later he'll understand, like maybe behind, like in private, he'll understand, like that he was in the wrong. Just be the bigger person and just say, I'm sorry, like that I made you upset. Maybe you don't have to say I'm sorry for the situation that happened, like I did, but I do apologize that you're upset.
I think the first reaction when someone does that is you either respect them more, and it just strengthens your relationship. Because if not, you go home and you hold a grudge, or something will happen and you wouldn't be able to kind of solve it.
You're right.
It's actually good, because it's hard, man, running a business together. We know we've been doing vetting, and we've been talking about it so long. It's good. Yeah, but it's one of those things where there's been a lot of bumps in the road, and then we had to kind of learn to cope with it. What do we do and stuff like that? But obviously, it's just you two. Us, there's four of us. So, for example, if Suhail has a busy schedule with uni, it's like, okay, us three can take over for this month. But then you two, it's pretty much like, if Abduhay kind of goes family issues, it's just on Adam.
Yeah.
And it's like, khalas, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So even just you two with your three on the side, it's a lot of work, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much like, how many hours would you guys do in a week now? It's
I
like,
don't know. A lot.
Can you guys take us through like a normal day?
No,
Like
bro. That's just too random. Days are too random.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like bro.
Okay, so
Like no 2 days are the same.
Like chefing is not a glorious industry. Like it looks glorious on Netflix and stuff.
Look, it does, to be honest, because I've
it
never
looks
even...
so glorious.
looking from the
Master
outside.
Chef, all these, home cooks can come out and do. Yeah, fair enough. You might be a good cook. You might make some crazy stuff. But put you under, on the line. Put you in a situation where you have 150 people walking at once. Put you with untrained staff, and everything falls back on the kitchen. You know what I mean? Then you just look and you're like, put you with an owner that knows nothing about food or the time management of anything, and then just goes, I want all this stuff on the menu, and then why aren't we making money? And you just go, because the menu's too big and you can't focus on everything. You give them your wisdom and all this stuff, and they don't listen, and you just like, I'm here breaking my back.
Yeah, it gets frustrating.
Yeah, and then their business is going down and all this stuff, and then you're fighting for your pay at the end of the week, and
There's like a lot on the line.
Wait. Can I say my ideal day? My ideal Tisiri day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wake up at about 7:30. You know,
Yeah.
you go get a coffee, and then you just take your time, get to work. You see all the supplies are there in front of the door waiting for you to come in. You go, you put it inside. You start prepping for the evening. And then you open for lunch, you have a great service. And then you open again for dinner, you have a great service. Pack down takes maybe half an hour. Got a dishwasher there.
Yeah. Nah.
That's never happened.
That's never gonna happen.
That's never gonna happen, bro. You know what I
Like
mean?
it can. You just gotta have a structure that allows it. Like for example, you know, you don't if your car can only, you know, go an X amount of speed, you're not gonna force it to go more. You know
Yeah,
what
it's
I
not
mean?
possible. Yeah.
Because then something will break.
Yeah.
You know? It's literally like quality over quantity. And that's a lot of places don't understand that.
But it's hard running a business first. Like everyone says, like even your profit margins for the first 1, 2, 3 years, it's hard to break even for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then even just the amount of work you have to put in.
100%.
It's like you don't actually get a salary. It's not like Tisiri is paying you and you confirm 70K a year. It's pretty much whatever the business. And as
Correct.
much as you can, you should be putting back in the business if you want it to grow. Like you
Correct.
guys have moved around a lot too. Like I know as in moving from apartment to house, and moving houses is expensive.
Correct.
It's the
Very
same kind of thing
expensive.
for businesses.
Yeah.
Like
Correct.
moving around.
Very
Now you
expensive.
guys are moving to Kensington, yeah? Inshallah. And
We've already moved. So we moved at the start of last week. Sorry, at the start of this week. And this whole week has just been getting the sparky out, getting wired in, getting the plumber out, getting plumbed in, getting the bins out, changing all the suppliers, letting them know, hey, look, we're now in Kensington, we're not in Bell Street.
yeah.
So doing all that stuff. But yeah, now we're in Kensington. We're going to be there, inshallah, for the foreseeable future.
What is the hardest part about it? Is it the organization or is there other things to it? Like from moving, you know? Is it expenses? Is it the delays a lot of the time, you know?
It could be different for both of
'Cause
you.
sometimes it's just stress, man.
Like the hardest thing about it is making sure that you get a tow driver who knows how to tow a truck.
Oh, yeah. Bad
Bro,
experience.
the
Yeah.
way this guy towed it, I'm not gonna drop names, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward him, but low key,
So he's Muslim.
Don't drop Nashel as well.
yeah,
Don't drop
like
Nashel as
low
well.
key, he's like, yeah, anyway.
But what is it, just bad driving? Like,
Bro, the guy
things-
dosed it too much. The guy dosed this 3.2 ton trailer, and we have like I'm gonna tell you, we have a saladette. Yeah, we have a saladette that's on the back wall. Saladette is this huge, I guess
Refrigerated
like
unit.
refrigerated unit that holds our stuff that are cold, so we can serve it. So it's like a salad bar, you know.
And it's sealed
Mind
to the
you,
back wall.
at the back wall on the very front where the A-frame is, yeah, and it's that way, like long ways, yeah. Like anyway, by the time from Bell Street to Kensington, tell me why this unit, mind you, it's like probably like 2 meters long, yeah, is at the front of the door.
What
Yeah,
the hell?
like,
Relax.
like we open the door, and this thing is like in the center of the of the trailer.
And this thing was fixed.
It's fixed.
It's fixed.
You know what I mean?
Even if you tried, you can't do that.
no, you can't.
like,
bro,
yeah, this
it's
thing
sealed
was-
in
How do you
there.
drive that
Sealed in
bad?
there.
But
like getting hit.
bro,
Yeah,
this
well,
thing on
was
the
cruising.
this thing on the freeway, mind you, like this trailer is heavy. This
Yeah,
trailer is
very
heavy.
heavy. Very heavy.
We were done making it, like in terms of, I wish that we made it like probably 2 meters shorter,
Yeah.
just because of portability. You
Yeah.
know? But we were like, this is where our like ego and excitement came in. We're like, we're gonna
Yeah.
be the biggest boys in the
Yeah,
area, you know?
exactly.
Yeah,
Truck
yeah.
Hundred
things, you know?
percent. 100%.
Like straight
don't
up,
blame you,
big
yeah.
boy things, you know? We want to see us like a red flag.
Make a big
you know?
difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
And
yeah.
then this big boy thing doesn't move, bro. Like,
It doesn't want to move.
it doesn't
bro.
want to move.
Learn the
bro.
hard
Anyway,
way.
like, and like, bro, he was on the freeway. The moment he got on the freeway, so a trailer. Have you seen a trailer fishy at the back? Like when it just gets a bit unstable.
Yeah, yeah.
So normally it's like this little bit. This thing for a solid 15 seconds.
It's doing that, bro. On
And
the
it's
Bro,
three
it
ton.
looked like he was gonna yank the car that
my
he was
God.
pulling.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone, like, you know, like it was
Whoa.
madness. He's behind the trailer. I'm in front. I'm looking in the rear mirror.
All we see
And
is
then
that.
I just see this, bro. And I call Ollie. I'm like, bro, what's going on? He's like, bro, I hit the brakes, bro. I thought this thing was going to snap and crash.
Wallah, bro. It was
Wallah.
insane. So to answer your question, the hardest part about moving is towing the trailer.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
That's why I don't blame
Like,
you guys aren't gonna move for like the next year.
Well, straight up. No, bro, we got put like at first we were like, we're gonna hit events, we're gonna go do festivals, we're gonna do all these crazy events, you know, like, and literally we're like, if the event doesn't guarantee us 30 grand and up, we're not moving. Like we've turned down 10 grand events, we've turned down like 5,000, 15. We're not moving this
It's
piece of
just
crap.
not worth it.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
just not worth
You have
it.
to have a standard, man. It's like
Mm.
there was a brother, Teddy. He makes
Mm.
those videos and stuff. And he
Yeah,
was talking to
yeah.
us about sponsorships.
Yeah, it's good
'Cause
mate of ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He goes, you just have to have a base number for
Mm.
sponsorships. Don't go below it. Whatever it is, you
100%.
pick, and you have to kind of. If not, the amount of headaches you're gonna go through for whatever it is
Absolutely.
for 5,000, and you guys, it's like, yeah.
It's not worth it. Yeah,
Just moving it is
yeah.
a headache.
But on a more serious note, like one of the biggest challenge when it comes to moving locations is definitely like organizing the logistics behind it, because like a business isn't just the physical business; it's all those little strings that are attached to it that help the business run.
Correct.
How's your like the social media side of things? Because a
marketing.
lot of businesses they try to do unique things like to kind of get engagement with people. I don't know what it is, but like a lot of times people do that. How's your guys? Because even like since the first time I went, and the second time your menu changed and you added the
BSP.
Yeah, BSB.
Yeah.
And then it's like, is that a thing where you guys are trying to like expand the menu right now? So
Yeah.
each time people come, it's like a new experience, or is there
Um,
other stuff? Because so early you can't like market too much because you're moving location, you're moving,
Yeah.
you know.
Bro, it's like, to be honest, the whole idea behind expanding the menu is so that repeat customers especially, like they have something to look forward to. Because like repeat customers, if you've come 3 times, you've tried everything on the menu.
Correct.
You know, so now it's something different that they can look forward to.
Yeah.
What was the other question?
Social media.
Yeah, just
Social
social media.
media.
Like, is there a way you guys want to try to? Because you said you exhausted all avenues when you don't get the sales.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
that's
no,
what-
no,
No,
no.
as
They
in,
were
like,
saying,
have we exhausted all
Yeah,
that?
you question yourself.
Yeah.
And then is social media a thing you guys are coming into play with it,
Of
or is
course.
it more word of mouth? How are you trying to bring the engagement? Because I don't know how marketing works for a
Mm.
business like food
Yeah.
business.
For us, the way we think, and we always have a discussion about this, and to be honest, we discuss a lot, and alhamdulillah, like we have enough experience over multiple platforms, not just on food, you know, but it's all about like the engagement with customers before, like as in when they see us on social media, because that's not gonna lie, everyone either looks at Google or Instagram before they even come. You know? Look at reviews. This guy rips into reviews, bro. This guy destroys reviews. I'm sitting there and he's laughing, and I'm like, oh, he's like, listen. You know?
What does that mean? It means like you're on the ball with.
No, so I pay attention to reviews.
Yeah, he pays attention.
I've never
yeah,
given a
yeah,
review.
yeah.
I give one now.
No, but just on other things,
I
like
haven't listened.
if he wanted to check out a new place, he'd go on Google first,
Yeah.
and then rip into him.
Mm.
And sometimes like it'll be like 5-star, and it'll be like, man, we're going, we're trying. Sometimes it'll be a place that looks really good, but then gets really bad reviews, and he'll still be like enticed to go. Like
Yeah.
for example, there was this place that we looked up called Paco Ramen or
Paco
something.
Ramen.
Paco Ramen, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have good stuff, other stores, and they're like a 3.8 or 3.9 or something. And all these reviews are like bad, and he's like, bro, I gotta go try it. He goes, I gotta, you
Why
know.
is that? What's the reason behind that?
To be honest, because we actually assessed them, right? Like we know about their history. We went to the website, we looked at it. Okay, these guys look like they give a really great product, but there's a massive disconnect between what the customers are saying on the reviews and what they are portraying. So you take a stab, you say, look, it's definitely worth a sus, you know, because like there's a big disconnect here.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised, like one thing that me and him learned, like in the past couple of years, and jumping around and running other people's business and all this stuff. The food is one thing, and the
Yeah.
visuals is another thing.
Yeah.
But the connection and the journey, it's all psychological.
Yeah,
Like there's a huge play on psychology on all of this.
100%.
You know, especially if you're targeting females and mothers and newly couples and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Men are simple.
Mm.
Men are a bit more stubborn in terms of opening up to trying new things. But if their woman drags them, they'll go. They'll come. If they like it, that's a bonus. They'll pay. Women are the ones that go out and be like, I want to try this. Oh, because my girlfriend's this, that, blah, blah,
But
blah.
it's the feeling, like
Yeah.
you said, you know.
You know, they go for the visuals, and if the taste
Yeah.
is mad.
Mm.
Like us men, we're happy with, like, you know, have you been on Racecourse Road and you go to those like mad Somali places that look dingy, that look ghetto, that have fridges on crates, but you try the food, mega.
Mega.
You know what I mean? It's mega, you know?
So, because you said you always suss reviews, what's a number that's like, is 4 the number that's like people are like, I'll try it? 3 is a bit low.
Bro, we're actually talking about this like a couple of days ago. Like I guess the rule of thumb is if you see a 3 there, it's not good. Even if it's a 3.9, you know,
Okay.
it's not good. Yeah. So I suppose you want to stay above 4.
Because I think ratings is now like you said,
It's very
Instagram,
important.
and even like us, there's there's random food pages like you could be doing, because us, we have podcasts, there's other
Yeah.
areas we can do.
Yeah.
Random food pages, and you try to get promotions, like say, hey, give us a shout out. Even coming on here,
Yeah.
it's beautiful for people to hear. Because now, for example, I go to the kebab shop down my road, don't know who the guy is, I order, I'm like, thanks, here's $10.
Yeah.
But then now you go to Tisiri, inshallah, and you go and you're like, damn, I want to support a small business. That's first thing. I want to support these
Yeah.
guys.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
you kind of believe in the vision. It's deeper than the sale, which is what you
Yeah.
want to do.
100%.
You know?
They're in line with your values as well. Yeah.
Especially if you want to expand. What did you guys like? Maybe you don't want to touch too deep on it,
Go ahead.
but you said after Tisiri or like through Tisiri, you want to expand it to other things. You said maybe more in barista into.
Yeah, I mean, like, for us, we want to make sure that we're catering to our community. You know,
Correct.
so like, our community is lacking a couple of things. You know, we're
A
lacking
lot of
like,
things.
yeah, 100%. Like we're lacking high end stuff. We're lacking
That's
high
true.
end stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Like
Is it-
like there's no completely halal fine dining place. There's no completely halal like high end coffee place. You know, we just want to make like good stuff for our community. You
Correct.
know, so that you can come there and
For the youth and the upcoming generation that are in our bracket.
yes,
There's a
yes.
lot of like old school generations where they serve good food and they expect it to be like $8.50 and all this stuff. But like in reality, like you're only stuck to the area.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Mm.
Like for example, like I always say to him, I go, the real money is on the other side of the river, meaning on the south side of Melbourne.
Mm.
The rent's bigger and all this stuff, you know. And there's a fair few like Muslims that do go on that end because they like the view, they like the scene, they like the, you know, just the atmosphere and the hustle and bustle on that
Mm.
end. But unless you're just vegetarian and seafood,
Yeah,
a lot of it's not halal.
Yeah.
And even if the meat is halal, the premises that prepares it is not.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because you also
Yeah.
had to learn so many other things. But if you're learning like you said, plumbing, carpentry,
100%.
you can kind of make mistakes. But with food, if you give someone burnt food,
Yeah,
khalas,
Yeah.
they're never coming back.
100%.
You know what I mean? So
100%. And I've burnt food before, trust me. But like, bro, it's like
that's why it took so long last time.
like, bro, like now you just walk out of it and it's like, fuck, now I know how to do this, and this, and this, and this. You know, so like, it all comes back to the person who you want to be in the future. You know,
Correct.
because when you think about, because I heard you say this in the other episode. You said I'm obviously not the person I want to be, but I'm on the right path. I'm on the right journey, right? So when you like picture Ashraf in the future, right? Like Ashraf in the future has all these skills and knowledges and you know all these attributes, right? And how do you get there, bro? You got to put yourself in these positions, and that's the way I'm thinking when I'm in the kitchen with this guy, and he's drilling me about not getting the onion ring sliced correctly or whatever the case might be. You know what I mean? The way I'm looking at it is, all right, I got to do this, do it right, you know, and the next time I attack it, it will be perfect, you know. So it's like, it's all building me up, because I'm in this unfamiliar position, unfamiliar environment, you know. And the same will go for him. Like the way I'm going to drill him behind the coffee machine,
100%.
like I'm
You
going to
guys
be
make
ruthless.
coffee as well?
Nah, not at Tisiri,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Not
when we
yet.
open up a coffee bar or whatever.
Inshallah.
Like he's gonna be right there, and he's gonna take it like he's gonna take it like how I took it. You know.
Correct. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like he also teaches me how to be like a better teacher,
Mm.
because for me, like, there's good chefs that are skillfully good, but then there's chefs that are still skillfully good and know how to control, teach, and educate a team. You know, alhamdulillah, like he might not have much experience in the field of cooking, but in terms of when he teaches someone like behind the coffee machine, or when he talks and motivates, blah blah, like there's key, I guess, skills that he uses. So I take away from that. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's no other industry. If you've been broken in hospo, like you be set for life.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
Like there's no
100%.
other job other than if you're living in Japan, you're in a suit doing 9 to 5 and falling asleep at a train station. Like in hospo, if you've been broken in hospo, you'd be alright in any other job.
100%.
Why is that? Like, do they break you?
Like,
Bro, they
How would they break you? What's
Like-
break your morale, break your dignity, break anything that you believe in. They'll just, if you've been broken in hospo and you can bounce back from that, you'll be alright.
like, bro, and the thing is with hospo, it's like,
deep, man?
I'm being
Bro,
serious.
like-
I'm not even kidding about that.
like, especially, with if you put high standards on what you do, then a couple of things are going to come with that. You have to be able to retain information at a high rate. You have to be able to execute effectively, and you have to be able to repeat that over and over, day in and day out. And all that type of stuff just like builds you into something that is kind of like a machine, to be honest.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And then it's like you put that person, you put them in any other position, they'll be all right.
Yeah. They might not have the skill set or like
But it's
knowledge
the mindset.
behind.
The mindset.
Yeah, the mindset. Like, for example, you know, time management, all this stuff. Like during the peak of COVID, I went and worked at ANZ in an office job. Never done office. The only thing about office I like is computers, because I build computers on the side just for fun. But I survived there for 10 months just because of my work ethic and my mentality of what I had in the kitchen. And they just saw like determination. They saw like, you know, what's the
Tenacity.
Tenacity. They saw like you just you were engaging and you just like wanted to be involved. You know what I mean? And that's what you need in the kitchen. Like in the kitchen, like no one's gonna tell you what to do. You actually have to like be engaging. You have to look, oh, what do I need? You know,
Initiative.
like the initiative. That's the word. Initiative. Like so many chefs out there, they teach you, or no, you learn the most by just observing and copying. Like like there's like probably a handful of chefs that will repeat something to you, but 95% of chefs will show you it once and expect you to get it off the one time. And that was my
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
that was mine.
How'd you get into it? Cooking and
Chef.
stuff like that.
My dad was a chef. My dad was a chef. My dad was a chef for over
Same thing, French food.
everything. But the last place he worked for was at this place in St Kilda that used to be owned by Jean-Jacques, which was at his time was one of the top 5 chefs in this part of the continent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they back in the days when you used to have to like, you know, bring in 40 kilo fish like whole, and he has to fillet it and all this stuff. So he was that, and he was
His
and
dad's a weapon, bro.
yeah. Alhamdulillah.
His dad's a
Sounds like it,
weapon.
bro.
Next time I see, he'll be at Tisiri.
He's old now, but
He's
back
old,
in the
yeah.
day, like
Older.
yeah. And then for many years, he was like to me, he's like, "Don't be a chef, don't be a chef, don't be a chef." What did I do? I become a chef.
Yeah.
So on that, what's your thoughts of like? Obviously, you spoke briefly about expansion, but in terms of like hiring people, new chefs, the way you would treat them in comparison to your experiences, are you
I have
open?
to-
Is that what you're looking for in the
Very good
future?
question. Very good question.
To be honest, for me, when it comes to that, like the difference, like from other previous people that I worked on and worked with, than me, I'm the type of person that takes responsibility in terms of like, this is my baby, this is my business. You know what I mean? Like the responsibility falls on me. Where the difference with the other ones, they put responsibility on to you.
Yeah.
So for me, like if workers come in, as long as I give them, you know, respect and they give me just the bare minimum of what I expect from a worker. You know what I mean?
Focus.
You know, focus, rock up on time, take it seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll give them whatever they need.
Yeah.
If they're of value to me and I can't lose them, I wouldn't. And this is where it changes, like where people think change. Like depending on how valuable you are, I would rather give someone a percentage of a share
Yeah.
to lock them in
Yeah.
than give them a pay rise.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if this person is valuable from like is more valuable than 100K, 200K salary.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, anyone else bigger than you, bigger Donny, anyone else, or maybe if he has a moment where he, you know, has a falling out or he just is over it, he'll just jump ship. But if you make him feel like he's part of the family, has ownership, his thoughts are more valuable to us on a point where it's not just a worker. Like why not? You know what I mean? Like why not give him that opportunity? You know, like and alhamdulillah, like we've been blessed enough to been given those opportunities also. You know, and I think that's where we like people nowadays, or at least business owners, they get caught up on the whole 100%. Owning a business 100%. This is all mine. Where for me and him, we kind of more like how many 20% can we own and run successfully? Do you get what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there's only so much me and him can do. But if we have a team behind us, we can do so much more. And I think that's where old school and our kind of like dip in old school / new school comes in. Because it's like, yeah, like I don't have a background in accounting and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you can go pay someone. But, you know, if you can give someone that has very high skills and offers a lot, a percentage, they're loyal to you.
Yeah.
And as long as they enjoy it and all this stuff.
Us, like we've acknowledged ourselves that like we're limited in certain aspects.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why Ahmed's behind the camera and I'm not doing both at the same time, because he's better in that aspect. So we get him to do that, and then I'm behind the mic or whatever aspect else. But then you start to understand that you can't do everything, and all those contributions come together, and that's how you succeed.
And even touching on your friend, a lot of times people, they believe they don't want to work for the man and stuff. But running a business is hard, man.
100%.
And it's not for everyone. Like a lot of
100%.
times people say, hey, you know, I don't want to work for the man. I want to work for myself. I want to have these flexible hours. But a lot of times, even when you go, you don't work, you work 9 to 5 for the man, but you end up working 9 to 9 for yourself. And it's a lot of work, but you have to have the vision and the work ethic and stuff like that to actually want it. You know, there's a book called like the E-Myth Revised, and it's why most small businesses fail. And the principle in the book is, what happens is there's a mechanic. He works at a mechanic shop or anything, and he works and he goes, but I'm better than the owner. I know more. I have more experience. I'm working here every single day. He's here in 2 days.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I'm going to start up my own mechanic shop. I'm going to start up my own business, whatever the skill is, carpentry, electricity, you know, whatever it is, sales. I'm going to go start my own. And then he realized when he starts, he's supposed to also run, like you said, the carpentry, the plumbing, has to do all the managerial stuff with all the hours, the roster, the shifts. Then he has to also be the visionary. How we're going to grow into the next stage and next stage. So even when you have a business, you're doing like 3 different roles. You're not just doing the labor. And that's what a lot of people say, I'm better at labor, but you're better at the managing and the visionary and entrepreneurship side of things. And that's why it's a lot of work, man. So a lot of people have to really take it into consideration.
100%.
You know? It's a big leap, man.
Yeah.
But it's not for everyone. But it's good to know that.
Yeah.
You kind of have to understand that. Even like what you both were saying about your perspective on money. Like if the sale comes, it'll come. We want to get balanced throughout the week. It's in Allah's hands. I don't mind losing thousands. Other people don't want to lose $100. You know? And it's like, how, if you have a business, you have to be willing to have a lot of bad days. You know, maybe financially have some ups and downs. You know, you got to really know yourself and even know your business partner.
Yeah.
It's all temporary, man. It's all dunya worries, first world country worries, first world problems.
Straight up.
You know, like people in overseas, like
They can't even eat.
they can't even eat. They dream or just, you know, like just like wish they had this opportunity, and we're here in a first world country, you know, kicking up a stink. Like just take a pun, bro. Don't like. Me and Abdul hate people that complain and do nothing to change it. If you complain and complain and complain and sit there and rock up to work every day complaining and turn around backbite about the same person you sit next to, that like you're in control of your situation.
100%.
You're in control of your situation. If you don't like it, make moves, make changes. If you're
100%.
comfortable and you don't want change, that's on you. Like
But don't complain.
But don't complain. Exactly.
Yeah.
I always say change is good because you don't know what can happen out of change. Some people have been in the same place for 7 years. You know, I'm like, is it yours? Nah, I work for the man for 7 years. You know, I've been there for 7. I'm over it. I want something new, but I'm too afraid to move. That's on you. Like, what do you want me to say to that? Do you want me to say like, oh, poor you? Nah, just on you, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's where traveling comes in, because you realize like 90% of the world live like that. Where
Yeah.
like
Well,
50% of the world
we're
can't
fortunate.
even get the food, and the other 40 have no chance. Like they
We're
can't even
very
compare
fortunate.
our life. You know, like you said, very, very fortunate, man.
Very fortunate. Yeah,
SubhanAllah.
alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end on that.
Yeah.
But I want people, after hearing obviously all the stories and all the knowledge that they gain, where can they find you guys and Tisiri? And-
Instagram, just search Tisiri. TISIRI.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And Google, obviously,
Yeah,
put in a
Google.
review, 4
Yeah.
star,
Yeah.
how to even it out.
Yeah, even it out.
How about you guys? If they want to see more of you, do you guys have social media, public, or
my handle is all over Melbourne.
All
Yeah.
over, man.
what's your all over the world?
Nah. Mine's just Adam Fenner, bro.
Done, inshallah.
Hey, but if you guys want good coffee, check out Sunny Boy and Winnie Ponds.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
done. If not, everyone sus Tisiri and let us know. Or even when you guys go to Tisiri, tell. Audio? Okay. Just tell people you came because of Fed Income, this, that.
Yeah.
Wallah, it was a pleasure, boys, man.
Yeah,
Actually,
Wallah,
really
hey, thank you
enjoyed
for
it.
having us, Wallah.
Nah, thank
you for
Wallah,
having us,
No, it was a
bro.
great
Yeah.
opportunity to
Allah.
get to understand you guys
Yeah.
Yeah.
and what you guys are doing.
Allah,
Yeah.
jazakallah khairan.
Yeah.